So it's day one of lockdown 3.2 and we break down over the next half hour all that you need to know about the extended lockdown in your city. With some relaxations, this third phase of the lockdown will continue till May 17th. Under the new guidelines, the government has permitted e-commerce delivery of all goods in orange and green zones, and in red zones, it remains restricted to delivery of essential items only. Salons and spa services in red zones will remain closed. However, restrictions on these services in orange and green zones have been lifted. Liquor and pawn shops will be allowed to open in non-containment zones, ensuring, of course, a distance of 6 feet is maintained and not more than 5 people allowed to be present at one time at the shop. Individual state governments will also have the final say on this matter. In the orange zones, taxis, cab aggregators, they've all been permitted with 1 driver and 2 passengers only. Air, rail, road travel will continue to remain suspended till May 17th across the country. Under the new guidelines, movement of all non-essential activities shall remain strictly prohibited between 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. throughout the country, and this is irrespective of the zone. So as we break down all that you need to know about what's allowed and what's not in your zone, let's focus for the moment on the red zones. All the metro cities have been deemed red zones by the government, and that's why we're going to tell you what is open and what's not from today. There are a few changes from previously. Red zones were, of course, a lot more stricter, a lot more curbs. There have been a few relaxations, and we break that down for you now. For example, 2 persons with the driver are allowed to, in fact, go around in 4-wheelers. Also, 2-wheelers are allowed on the roads, but they cannot be a pillion rider, which means 1 person is allowed on the bike. You've also got SEZs which have in fact been allowed, export-oriented units, industrial estates, townships. All of that is allowed in urban areas, but keep in mind they're not allowed in containment zones. Besides that, also construction in urban areas is allowed, but that is only with the caveat that the workers stay on the construction site and do not move outside and interact with others, which will then lead to a spread again. Now, standalone shops in residential complexes, all of those are allowed. What do we mean by standalone shops? It means that shops in malls will not be allowed to open either. Now, another point that's important here is that private offices can operate, but they will have to ensure that they operate at minimum strength, and the strength that's been given by the government at this point is 33% strength. And besides that, all industrial, agricultural activities and shops in rural areas will be allowed to open. That is, even if it is a red zone, but it is a rural area, they will be allowed. Standalone liquor shops can open, but here's where the state governments have the right to also decide. Keeping in mind the situation in states, the government can decide whether liquor shops can open or not. Most of the state governments have decided to go ahead and give a nod for the same. So those are some of the points of what's really changed now in some of these red zones. And let's take this across to our reporters also who are joining us on this broadcast. We've got Anisha Mathur joining us live from Delhi, Nolan Pinto from Bengaluru. We also have Shalini Lobo joining us live from Chennai, and Nilanshu Shukla getting us the latest from Lucknow.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.